Can you, yeah, the recording, all good, start.
Okay, ma'am, thank you very much. So, a very good morning to one and all. Here, I, Dr. Smita Gurde, Head, Department of Botany, on behalf of Department of Science and IQSC, Arvind Babu Deshmukh Mahavidyalaya, Bharsingi, welcomes Dr. Anupama Harshal Wadvalikar, Madam, and all the student participants and faculty members of various departments. It's my immense pleasure to welcome you all for today's webinar on how to read scientific literature and introduction to MANO project, which will be delivered by Dr. Anupama Madam, Consultant, Science Communication and Public Engagement, MANO, the Human Atlas Initiative, IISER, Pune. Now, today's webinar is organized by Department of Science and IQSC, Arvind Babu Deshmukh Mahavidyalaya, Bharsingi, specially for undergraduate and postgraduate students to bring awareness about the scientific literature for enlightening the scientific spirit in their mind. Here, it's my great privilege to introduce our multi-talented guest speaker, Dr. Anupama Madam, because I have attended one workshop of RBPT at Shri Shivaji Science College, Amravati, under the guidance of Dr. Anupama Madam, and I personally experienced many more things for the development of good teaching. So if I talk about the madam, she is an educator with a teaching expertise of 70 years and a certified trainer for STEM teachers training on research-based pedagogy. She is a UGC CSIR scholar and has accomplished her doctoral thesis from Hindustan Liver Research Center in collaboration with Topiwala National Medical College and BYL Nair Hospital, Mumbai. She adds to her credit 28 research projects with her undergraduate student at Kishan Chand Chellaram College, Mumbai University, which is funded by the Mumbai University, UGC, and other labs. Then during her tenure, she was an affiliate member of the Giant Application for STAR DBT funding, NAC, and has been the coordinator of the Science Honours Program, an innovative UG research initiative at the college. She has contributed to several regional RBPT workshops funded by DBT, DST, COSME, IISER, Pune, across the country as a subject expert and observer. She was associated as a resource person and content development in pedagogy workshop in regional language Marathi. Madam Marathi पण खूप छान बोलतात आणि explain पण खूप छान करतात. So workshop in regional language Marathi for science teachers from government schools of Maharashtra conducted by COSME IISER Pune under the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shikshan Abhiyan. She has contributed to a book on Foldscope and its application, and also the recipient of the Indo-US Foldscope grant funded by the Ministry of Science and Technology, and presently engaged with the project MANO Human Atlas Initiative at IISER Pune. As a consultant for science communication and public MANO Human Atlas Initiative at IISER Pune, she is involved with onboarding, conducting activities for student retention, upskilling, thus motivating them to practice higher level critical thinking skills. And today's webinar is also one of the part of her curriculum. Therefore, we are very much fortunate, ma'am, to have such a guest speaker with us, and also thankful for accepting our invitation within a short period of time. Therefore, I request our guest of honor, Dr. Anupama Madam, to deliver her talk on the topic, how to read scientific literature and the importance of MANO Human Atlas. Thank you, ma'am. Please, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for those kind words. And it really feels nice that I was your teacher, and as an observer, there have been some learnings for you. I was wondering where I've seen you, but since it was a gathering, I couldn't have addressed it that way. So thank you very much for those kind words. And a special thanks to your entire administration and management, and to your principal for having allowed us this interaction with students.
Thank you.
I think you have to really thank Sinker sir, because we have spoken only once, and that is today. We haven't even spoken once before. So everything has been coordinated by him on WhatsApp and on mail. So really, this is a time which teaches us, how we can work, but we require that much of confidence of each other to be there with each other. So what I will be doing is we will talk about how to read scientific literature. And I hope you are all sitting with a pen and a pencil, so that there will be some tasks that I will be asking you to do. And it will be an interactive session. So I hope you will enjoy this moment with me. So I'll be talking about how to read scientific literature and an introduction to Manav, the Human Atlas Initiative. So what we will do is we will begin on the backdrop of what is information versus what is knowledge. So we are all surrounded by meaningful content. And this meaningful content is related to science and technology. It could be related to performing arts. It could be related to therapeutics. It could be related to, general administration, or it could be related specifically to medicine. So what is knowledge then? Okay. So knowledge is when a professional or an expert critically distills out specific points from this meaningful content, then it gets classified as knowledge. So students, where do you get your knowledge from? You get your knowledge from your teachers. You get your knowledge from your research guides, from your mentors, from your textbooks. So your teachers are experts in the subjects where they've done their PhD or their postdoctoral fellowship. And they are also, very well read in the domain that they are expertising on. You get your knowledge from your lab supervisors, from your research guides, and from textbooks which are written based on research papers. So I hope you can understand the subtle difference between information which is available all around you, and that which has gone through an expert or a professional desk is called as knowledge. So where do you get your information from? Well, the obvious answer is newspapers, then social media handles, public databases, and of course our position right now is that of the child in the picture, where we are not able to communicate, we are not able to do many things, but specifically this is related to COVID related information which you cannot post or share on any social media platform. Now the reason for this is that the government of India wants you to go to well curated sites, and those are of ICMR. Those are of can you just mute your mic if there's somebody who is yeah. Yeah, I have just muted everybody so that we don't have any disturbance. Okay, so presently you can the government of India wants you to go to sites of WHO, to that of CDC, to that of ICMR, and to that of IBMS, which is India Biosciences, so that you get well curated information. So now what is this word curation, right? So information is not knowledge, experience is knowledge, and all the rest is information. So I use the word curation. So when you use Google, what is missing in Google? Well, again, the word is curation. So what is this curation? You must be very curious to know. So selection of accurate content is called as curation. So whenever you have ordered something online, have you ever encountered that you end up getting more advertisements for that online content? If you've ordered something, you start getting more advertisements in your inbox, correct? So that means somebody backend is selecting appropriate information or selecting appropriate content and giving out to you. So this could be related to online content. This could be related to merchandise. This could be related to the material that you're reading or to some thing that you have ordered on the vendor side. So let me give you an example. So I want to buy a mobile phone. So I go to Google and I say, Google, please help me buy a mobile phone. So when I do that, then you know what Google does? It gives me several vendor sites and it gives me several blogs. Now, what is there on these blogs? On these blogs is information about, different phones. What are their unique selling points? What are their camera features? What are their camera resolution, and so on. So what are there on these vendor sites? So on these vendor sites, there are several filters. And what are these filters? These filters tell me what is the price I want to buy the phone on, what is the camera resolution that I want, what is the storage capacity that I want, and so on. Okay. And when I, give my choice to these filters, it helps me make a choice of the phone. Fine. So do you understand what is curation? So curation is selection of accurate content depending on what the person who is a user is looking for. So curation is the selection, organization, and presentation of online content, merchandise, information, typically using professional or expert knowledge. I hope you can see that selection, organization, and presentation, and again, using professional or expert knowledge. So these are two things that I want you to remember. So when you are studying botany, when you are studying biotechnology, when you are studying microbiology, or when you are studying any subject, yes, then you are becoming a professional in that particular subject, because your know-how of that subject is anytime greater than anybody else's know-how of that particular subject. So what then is data curation, right? So as a teacher, ma'am just introduced me as a teacher, as a scientist, as an academician. It is my duty to tell you that, we are preparing you for jobs in the next 5 years about which we are not very sure of, right? सध्या टीचर्सवर एवढं जोर आहे की आपण ज्या स्टुडंट्सना तयारी करतोय त्यांची, आपल्याला माहिती नाही की 5 वर्ष पुढे त्यांना कुठल्या क्षेत्रात जॉब मिळणार आहे. सो इट इज माय ड्युटी टू टेल यू की कुठे कुठे स्कोप आहे, जिथे तुमची प्रतिभा तुम्ही निहारू शकता आणि तुमचं खरं जे पोटेन्शियल आहे त्याला तुम्ही अपस्किल करून त्याला यू कॅन रिअली मेक अ प्लेस फॉर युअरसेल्फ. सो डेटा सायन्स इज वन सच फील्ड. So I'm going to tell you what is data curation. So data curation is the active and ongoing management of data through its cycle of interest and usefulness to scholarship, science, and education. Now, this includes appraisal, selection, representation, and organization of these data for access and use over time. Okay, so students, let me tell you, there are jobs in academics, there are jobs in research and development, there are jobs in data science, which may be data mining, data wrangling, data curation, biocuration, and so on. Okay, so please do remember that these are opportunities for you to where you can actually upskill yourself, gather some knowledge, take up a course, and then develop yourself and your personality. So at this moment I have a question for you. Okay, and my question is as follows. Have you heard of the word peer review? Have you heard of the word peer review? And do you think peer review is a form of curation in science? Have you heard of the word peer review? And do you think peer review is a form of curation in science? Now, students, let me tell you, there are no negative marking for wrong answers. The second and the most important thing, that I will not know who gave the correct answer and who gave the wrong answer. So please go for these polls. It builds up momentum. It helps you to think and at least know if you're on the right side or the wrong side. And also it helps me understand what is your knowledge or your current know-how of this particular content. So I can see a lot of people are voting, so I hope this percentage gets better. So is peer review a form of curation in science? So have you heard of the term peer review, and do you think it is a form of curation in science? So I can see about 20% of you have voted. Come on, you can do better. We are about 70 of us. Okay, so I'm just keeping the poll on for some time so that kind of builds confidence. So I'm kind of ending the poll here, and here are the results for you. Okay, so about 95% of you have said that yes, peer review is a form of curation, and about 5% have said no, they're not very sure, but nevertheless, they made an attempt. So a huge round of applause for all of you, about 21 of you who have taken this poll here. Okay, so what indeed is peer review? Indeed, peer review is a form of curation in science. If you didn't know, it's good to know. And if you got the correct answer, it should obviously build confidence in you. So peer review is a process where you write a manuscript, you write a book chapter, and you send it to a publishing house. And the publishing house then sends it to an expert or sends it to somebody who has domain knowledge of that particular subject, and they go through all your content. And then they say, yes, this is good to go in the public domain. So they check all your experiments are in place. Has your data been analyzed? Have you used the correct system? And so on. So therefore, curation is important. But why is it important? Because it helps you evaluate the quality of scientific data. It could also ensure the better access, to the best scientific data. So I hope you will remember what is peer review and also what is curation. So what about Wikipedia? Yes, what do you think? Wikipedia is curated? And if it is curated, by whom is it curated? Well, the answer is Wikipedia is curated by anyone from anywhere. Okay. And do you think there is a problem with this? Do you think there is a problem with this? Well, I personally would think there's a problem with this, but don't believe anything that I say until I give you evidence. That is why we are here in science. Okay. So this is the disclaimer from the Wikipedia, and I hope you can read point number 6, which clearly says we do not expect you to trust us. So any information, if you're taking from Google or Wikipedia, I leave it as an open-ended question, whether you can really trust the information that is given here. Of course, they have a string of other things that are also mentioned here, but I'm leaving that for you to decide that the next time a teacher asks you a question or wants you to do an assignment, please do think about it, that can you really trust the content on these sources. So when you can't trust the content on a particular public database, then what happens? Well, the quality varies from time to time and from article to article. Now, because Wikipedia can be edited by anyone at any time, the articles may have some errors. However, please don't worry. At the end of each of the articles, there are always references that are there. So I would request you to kindly access those references and then go about checking for the facts. So what do you think? Would Albert Einstein use Wikipedia? What do scientists use? Do scientists use Wikipedia? Where do major breakthroughs and minor breakthroughs get published? The answer is in scientific journals. Yes? So how do scientific journals look like? Here are a few examples I have taken, namely Cell, Nature, Science. There are Lancet. There are many other journals in different subjects. And one of particular interest here is the Indian Journal of Medical Research. Now, this was a journal established in 1913. Now, to tell you, if you want to make a niche for yourself, म्हणजे तुम्हाला स्वतःची एक जागा करायची असेल, की मला पुढे या फील्डमध्ये जायचंय, बेसिक सायन्सेस मध्ये किंवा अप्लाइड सायन्सेस मध्ये किंवा अलाइड सायन्सेस मध्ये, देन यू मस्ट बी व्हेरी वेल रेड. ओके, म्हणजे तुमचं वाचन खूप स्ट्रॉंग असायला पाहिजे, अँड दॅट टू फ्रॉम ट्रस्टेड सोर्सेस, म्हणजे विश्वसनीय सूत्रांकडनं तुमची माहिती जी असायला पाहिजे, दॅट हॅज टू बी फ्रॉम अ व्हेरी ट्रस्टेड सोर्स. सो एक्झॅक्टली तेच आपण ह्याच्यात सांगतोय. So I hope you understand, to do that, you must have read, to make an educated opinion, you must have read all the research papers that are relevant to that particular topic or domain that is interesting to you. So let me tell you that with an example. So I hope you can all see here, I have taken a few articles about CRISPR. Now we all know CRISPR is a large genome editing technology, right? So in CRISPR, you can edit a large amount of DNA and ensure that a gene which is diseased can be removed and a normal gene can be inserted. So this has obviously been discovered by Dr. Charpentier and Dr. Jennifer Doudna, and they have been awarded the Nobel Prize for this. So it's a great moment in time and of pride because they got the Nobel Prize in chemistry. Now, if you look at this slide, the announcement of CRISPR as a therapeutic mode for the treatment of beta thalassemia and sickle cell anemia was announced in the newspaper. So I hope you can see here that while the newspaper announces the arrival of CRISPR, it does not give you any other information. म्हणजे तुम्हाला ते CRISPRच्या बद्दल बाकी काहीच माहिती देत नाहीत. Okay, so to get that information, you have to go to all the research papers in the last 5 to 10 years. So which were the model system they used? What was the testing systems they did, what kind of experiments they did, and so on. Okay, so for all that, you will actually have to go and read the research papers. So that was the purpose of putting these slides here. So which should be your go-to databases? Your go-to databases should be PubMed and Google Scholar. Okay, you can also use Scopus and Web of Science, depending on how much allowance your college is giving in terms of accessibility or permissions to use them. This is how the PubMed address looks like. That's the scan QR code. And this is the PubMed homepage. Okay, so I hope you can see here there is a window. So what do we type in this window? Well, anything that interests you. म्हणजे तुम्ही एखादं नाव ऐकलंय किंवा एखादं फिनॉमिनन ऐकलंय आणि त्याच्याबद्दल तुम्हाला अजून माहिती काढायची आहे, तर तुम्ही त्याच्याबद्दल फाइंड आउट करू शकता. इफ यू वॉन्ट टू नो अबाउट सम disease, you can find out about that disease. Okay, if you want to know about let's say some phenomena, you want to know about a scientist, all that you can find out over here. So let's take that with an example. So I have now taken the example of protein kinase C and I type it out in PubMed. I hope you can see that I have got 63,793 results. Now you know it is impossible for me to go through so many references. So what I now do is, let me tell you what happens if I put protein kinase C in Google. When I put protein kinase C in Google, I hope you can see that it is also listing Wikipedia. Okay. So the next time you use Google and Wikipedia, I'm leaving it up to you whether you can really trust them for the information. Now I put protein kinase C in Google Scholar. So I hope you can see it is showing me that do I need the references of the last 10 years or the 10 years before that or the 10 years before that or the 10 years before that. That means in the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years or 50 years. So I hope you can see that this is getting my result better and better, but I still have some lakhs of references which I have to go through. So it's going to be impossible for me to go through so many, which is a high number. So I now put protein kinase C and tumor suppressor. So it now shows me or narrows down my results to 869 results. Now 869 is still a large number even if I had to go only through the titles, correct? So what I do is I take the protein kinase C, put tumor suppressor and also put the name of the author. Now, when I put the name of the author, I have 9 results. So 9 results are quite okay for me to go through their titles or even read the research papers. Okay. So when I say the name of the author, I could remember the full name of the author. I could remember the last name of the author. I could just remember his lab affiliation. So I could then find out all the papers that this author has contributed in this particular subject area. Now we are all very different. So somebody may use and, somebody may use or, and somebody may end up using a comma. If I change the connector, I hope you can still see I have the same 9 references. Okay, so that is something that I wanted to bring to your notice so that you can see, these are the references that are still reflected by the changing of the connector or using a different author name with his lab affiliation. What if I wanted to know more about diabetes mellitus? That's a disease. So do I want to know more about diabetes mellitus of Nagpur versus that of Bombay? Do I want to know in Nagpur among the working population versus the non-working population? I could look for different areas in Nagpur. For example, the number of people suffering in diabetes from diabetes in, let's say, Ramtek area versus some other area in Nagpur. So whatever you want to define, you can define this in your search criteria, okay, and get more information about it. What if you wanted to know more papers about a particular author? Then you can write the name of the author. You could either, write the first name of the author, the last name of the author, or even his lab affiliation. So which takes us to what are the major classes of scientific literature? They are research articles, review articles, commentary, and medical case reports. Now today we'll focus our discussion only to research articles and review articles. So I have a question for you here. And my question is as follows. Now, all of you must have heard about a review article, right? So in a review article, is it reporting the work done by one scientific group, or do you think it is work done by many scientific groups? So in a review article, is it work done by one scientific group that is reported, or is it work done by many scientific groups that are reported? I hope you can see the poll going. And this time, I think the percentage is better. A lot of people are giving their opinion. Even if you have not heard a review paper, you could give it a try of what do you think a review paper looks like. What is the terminology review conveying to you? Okay, so I will just wait for a few more seconds for those of you who think you want to change, or think about it and then answer. So that's not really bad. About almost 40% of you are using the voting. Please understand that I will not know who's given the right answer or the wrong answer. So you are absolutely free to take the choice. Okay. So I'm sharing the results with you here, and I hope you can see that many of you, yes, many of you say that review article is work done by one scientific group, and 54% says no, and 46% says yes. So let me tell you what the correct answer is. The correct answer is a review article is actually a club of research articles. So it is written by one set of authors, but it actually ends up reporting the work of many groups of scientists. Okay, so essentially it's an opinion piece which tells you how this person or persons views all the current literature in the field. Are you understanding this? how the authors view all the current literature in the field is given, but a review paper is a club of research articles. That means it reports the work done by many research groups. Okay, so you could get it right or you could get it wrong, but essentially this is an opinion piece. So that means how the authors feel about that particular content, all the content in the literature in that field. Okay, so somewhere your bias will come. म्हणजे मला त्या टॉपिक बद्दल काय वाटतंय तो बायस नेहमी रिव्ह्यू आर्टिकल मध्ये येतो. त्यामुळे तुम्ही जर खूप रिसर्च आर्टिकल्स वाचत असाल, इफ यू आर रीडिंग मेनी रिसर्च आर्टिकल्स, डोंट यू थिंक इट वुड बी बेटर इफ यू मेक युअर ओन रिव्ह्यू, की हे 4 पेपर वाचल्यानंतर मला असं वाटतंय, not getting followed by what the reviewer was thinking of another review paper. Yes, so this is something that I want you to remember till the end, the difference between a research paper and a review paper. Okay, so what is the body of a research article? It has a title, it has the abstract, it has the introduction, it has the materials and methods, the results, the discussion, conclusion, and references. So we will be going through this each one at a time. So the title is usually your first encounter, whether it's a Netflix series, whether it's an Amazon Prime, or it is a research paper, that is your first encounter with what is the content. म्हणजे त्या पेपर मध्ये नक्की काय आहे त्याच्याबद्दलची माहिती त्याच्या टायटल मध्ये दिलेली असते. And the abstract is a dantadam, right? It is the trailer of the paper. So it tells you or it shows you what the paper can have. And many times we watch the trailer of a movie, but the movie is not so good. So similarly for a research paper, sometimes the abstract may be very good, but the paper may really not be that, relevant. So I leave that to you to decide. So I will be using this paper, which is from Dr. Nagaraj Balasubramanian's lab, which is called as the cell adhesion lab. And this lab, works with cell adhesion molecules, injunction adhesion molecules, which we call as CAM and JAM. So you can go to the ICER Pune website and check out the cell adhesion lab. So there is a Hydra lab and there are many other labs like this. And definitely look for an integrated MSc PhD program or for a postdoctoral fellowship by visiting the website and getting more information and details about the same. So the title generally describes or summarizes the main idea of the research paper. It briefly describes the study. Read the title carefully. Ask yourself, what do I understand or do I understand anything from this paper? The abstract, as I told you, it is the trailer of the paper. So the abstract clearly states the hypothesis, goal, or aim of the study. It provides a brief overview of the methods and results. It summarizes the key results and it provides a short conclusion. So make notes of what you understand and ask yourself, why do I want to read this paper or do I want to read this paper further? Okay. Which gets us to the introduction. Now, introduction usually, even teachers na, even मला introduction वाचताना असं थोडासा कंटाळा येतो कारण त्याच्यात इतकं लिहिलेलं असतं. It is very long, it's very elaborate, very exhaustive. बरेचशी scientistची नावं, findings. Yes, so how should we navigate this? Okay, so whenever you are reading the introduction usually provides a background of the topic. It contains some details about previously published studies on the same topic. It highlights important missing information. It explains why the present study was conducted. It may or may not provide an overall approach, but it definitely sets a goal, aim, or hypothesis along with possible objectives of the research that is carried out. So whenever you write or see the introduction, try to summarize the introduction in a few words for your own reference. Why? So that whenever you are sharing, you want to tell your research guide, you want to tell your teacher, you want to discuss this with your lab supervisor or with your friends, you can't say, oh, there was a paper where I had read this, right? What will you do? You will say, this is a summary of the paper, which has got either a new method or a new protocol or a new modification or a new fine chemical that they have used or a new perspective. And then say, okay, from this paper, this reference, I took this material and let us see if it is of relevance to us or to our experimentation. What is needed to carry out these experiments is written in materials and methods, which contains a list of reagents, chemicals, drugs, and antibodies, cell lines, which cell lines are used, whether they were human cell lines, HeLa cell lines, B16 melanoma cell lines, and so on. The animals that were used, mice, rats, etc., human subjects that were involved. Let me tell you, students, even if you are doing a survey-based research, where you are asking questions like, which shampoo are you using, are you aware about breast cancer, any other question like that. Even in that case, you must take the consent of the people who are participating in your research. Okay, it's very important. So here are a few examples I thought it would be good to discuss with you, where you can see fibronectin was taken from Sigma and the catalog number is mentioned here. So for all the fine chemicals that I used, the vendor and the catalog number is mentioned here. Now, so that if you want to repeat this experiment at your college in Nagpur, then you know from where to get the chemicals, which chemicals, and how to carry out the experimentation. Supposing you used a biological material, right? You use, in this case, they have used a GFP tagged plasmid. Now, in that case, they have given the name of the scientist, and they have also given the name of the lab he's coming from, he or she is coming from. So you can see the name of the scientist, and obviously the name of the lab affiliation is mentioned here. What is there in the methods? So in the methods, you have a list of techniques used in the paper. Each technique will have the following details, namely the dosage, concentration of reagents, drugs, and antibodies, a detailed description on how the experiment was performed, other details like sample sizes, controls, statistical analysis, or data analysis. So I hope you understand that exactly how this procedure was carried out is mentioned here in the methods. Okay. So here is an example that I have taken, where you can see they have taken 0.2 micrometer cross sections, and they have fixed it 3.5% PFA at room temperature for 15 minutes. They have then used Z-stacks and object analysis. In this case, they have used mouse embryonic fibroblasts, and they have cultivated them in Dolbeck's modified Eagles medium with 5% fetal bovine serum at 37 degrees in a 5% CO2 incubator. Now, during the course of the experiment, म्हणजे experiment करताना त्यांनी no serum आणि low serum ह्या दोन वेगवेगळ्या concentrations use केल्या आहेत. So no serum is understandable की no serum, but what is low serum? So they have defined 0.2% as the low serum here. The moral of the story here is that if you are carrying out an experiment and you say we use low temperature, so the low temperature in Nagpur is different from the low temperature in Bombay, which will be different from the low temperature in Chennai or Dehradun. So whenever you are carrying out an experiment, please ensure that you write down everything meticulously in your lab notebook. Okay. So by now, I'm sure you are wondering, why am I telling you this, right? So my question to you is as follows, and that is that how important is reproducibility for a scientific paper? How important is reproducibility for a scientific paper? Or do you think it's important, ICER मध्ये केलं तर तो experiment येतो आणि तुमच्याकडे केलं तर नाही येत? Do you think it's okay? Or do you think it is very important? So for this, I should definitely have a voting percentage, because I think there are about 75 or 78 of us, and I'm sure this is the most relevant question for students in science. So I can see a lot of you are taking the voting. Okay, that's very nice. Come on. How important is reproducibility for a scientific paper? Do you think it's important? Do you think it is could be considered important? Or do you think it's not very important at all? म्हणजे it's okay. तुमच्या लॅब मध्ये रिझल्ट आला आणि इतर कुणाच्या लॅब मध्ये तो रिझल्ट नाही आला तर चालेल. So that kind of an opinion. So not bad. Almost about 38%, 40% of you have taken the voting. That's very nice. So my voting percentage is getting better. So I will be stopping the poll here. Okay. And here are the share results for you. I hope you can see teachers. About 56% of think it's very important. About 41% think it could be considered important, but only 3% think that it is not important at all. Okay. So I will tell you, why are we discussing this? Well, I hope you can see the lady here. I hope you can see the lady here who is holding the flask at 37 degrees. Now, she doesn't know whether she should hold the flask at 37 degrees, which is an angle to the base of the lab, or she should incubate the flask at 37 degrees Celsius. Now, we all know that in tissue culture, in many of these mapping experiments, when we make media, we do keep the media at a slanting position, right? So she's not wrong to make the judgment. At this point, I want to introduce a very valuable resource which is called as JOVE, Journal of Visualized Experiment. Now, what is this Journal of Visualized Experiments? So this Journal of Visualized Experiments, or JOVE, has got video scrolls of path-breaking science experiments in their database. So as a student, you can request your librarian, request your teachers to give you access for, let's say, about a week or so, and then go and check out. So how these experiments in hybridization, micropropagation, CRISPR, mapping, conjugation are carried out, you have a video recording of that which is present. So we call that as a video scroll. Okay, so you are not going to get research papers in Jove, but you're going to find a lot of video recordings that are there, and you're going to be amazed. Now, for my teacher friends, let me tell you, there are very valuable resources in Jove. So the next time you're explaining a concept, instead of telling them how the described protocol was, you can actually show them a video from Jove, which will actually tell you how the experiment is performed. Okay, so I hope you will enjoy this resource, and definitely you will get back to me using this resource. So what is there in the results section? Each section has a statement of what was found after conducting the experiment. So did you find the concentration of A higher than that of concentration of protein B? Did you find that the tumor size of the test was much smaller than that of the control? So read each section along with the respective figure and table. Does the results section answer all the questions? So excuse me for that. So in the results section, whatever your findings were there, that will be present. Okay. So what comes in the results? What do you expect to see in the results? You expect to see different kind of data. What kind of data depends on the kind of study. The data may vary. Should I be able to understand all of the data? No. What if I do not understand all the data? Then read more papers. That's what scientists do. So whenever I'm reading a research paper, I end up reading almost 4 to 5 research papers before I can finally say that I have understood this one paper. So it's perfectly okay if you don't understand one research paper by simply reading it. So I thought as students, it would be good for you to see different results so that you know how they look in a research paper. Okay. So here you can see microtubule, actin and centrosome. You can definitely see the microscopic images. You can see the scale, 5 micrometers. This is the middle plane, the upper plane, and so on. And these are the different treatments that have been used. In the next image, you can see on the top portion is the qualitative analysis, and on the bottom line is the quantitative. So in the qualitative analysis, you can see the Western blot, you can see the standard molecular weight markers, and so on. In the quantitative, you can see that the different treatments have been listed here, and there is a difference between SA and SUSP. But wait, did you just believe me? Please don't. Always look for the star sign or the asterisk sign so that you can, see that yes, this data has been statistically analyzed to understand that there is a significant difference. Another microscopic image with the number of times it has been magnified. And here you can see there is a difference between the two indicated by the stars. And there is also n equals to 34. So what is this n equals to 34? N equals to 34 means that there are about 34 sets carried out under this example or under this treatment, or there were 34 samples that were analyzed by this particular treatment. Okay, so always remember that there should be error bars, there should be the asterisk sign that it is statistically analyzed, and of course n of how many times it was carried out. Now, here is a schematic method of representing the results, where you can see the promotion of Golgi function, a reduction of the Golgi function, and a basal Golgi function. But what's important is there are no tables, there are no numbers, and this is called as the schematic method of publishing your result. And this schematic has a description which is present here in the legend. Okay, this is called as the legend. Now, this is a scientific illustration where they have actually showed of how the mouse, is injected by 10^10 cells. The tumor is raised, and the tumor is salvaged, and the mouse is sacrificed. So this is an example of scientific illustration. This is mouse tumor data. Now, what I want to tell you here is that in a research paper, you will end up seeing the mice scans. You will end up seeing the tumors which have been excised, the day 0, day 5, day 12 pictures, and also a graph which talks about the different results or the outcomes that they got from these findings or experiments. This is patient data. I hope you can see there are no pictures, there are no images, there are only dots. Now, each one of these dots represents the IgG level of the particular patient under this experimental evaluation. So I hope you can see that this data looks pretty different. And of course, you have specialized data, which is proteomics data, and you have even more specialized data, which is genomics data. So by, ask yourself, are the results sufficient to prove the aim, goal, or hypothesis of the study? Okay, you remember where the aim, goal, or hypothesis of the study was? The aim, goal, and hypothesis of the study was actually present in the introduction. So towards the end of the introduction, the aim, goal, and objectives of the study had been defined. In the discussion, try and answer the question that why was the concentration of protein B higher than that of protein A? Why was the tumor volume of the test smaller than that of the control? Right? Obviously, the drug that you have used, the chemical that you have used, the biomolecule that you have used has shown some effect on the tumor. That is why the progression of the tumor in the test has been much smaller or lesser as compared to that of the control. So, discussion and interpretation of obtained results, comparison of results with previously published studies, strengths and limitations of the study, and future implications of the study. Sometimes authors tend to explain the conclusion at the end of the discussion section. A paper may or may not have this section. However, it is a summary of the obtained results. So I want you to remember, students, many a times we do projects where we don't get results. So we go and tell our teacher, I never got any results. Should I write a report? Of course, you should write a report. Please list down what went wrong with your questionnaire, what was wrong with your hypothesis, what was wrong with your method or protocol. Did you not have the necessary instruments in your lab? Did you not have the chemicals? Make a report of this and submit it to your lab supervisor. Now, this will serve as a platform for you for learning, and it will also serve for your lab to understand that they need to procure those instruments, they need to procure those model systems so that students can carry out their projects satisfactorily. So at this moment, I want you to use the chat window and tell me what is going to be your criteria to select a research paper. How will you select a research paper that you want to read? How will you select a research paper that you want to read? So I want you to use the chat window and tell me, how will you pick up the right paper? Anything that comes to your mind. So I'm going to then take my session ahead from whatever you are going to be putting in the chat window. Okay, so I'm leaving the forum open for all of you to write in the chat window, where picking up the right paper, right? Even if you didn't know, I just discussed for some time, isn't it? So you need to tell me what is going to be your criteria. Will you be looking at the title? Will you look at the abstract? Or are you going to look for something else in the paper to select and then read the paper? Yes, anyone? Anybody who will be telling me how you would want more reviewed? Thank you, Smita. That's very nice. That's very nice. That's a very different perspective. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Okay, Pranita says relevant to the topic of research. Exactly. When I want to begin my topic of research, it should be relevant. It should be of interest to me. So if the teacher has said, our lab will work on this, or we will all be focusing on this, so it should be relevant to my topic. Perfectly okay. Thank you, Pranita, for that answer. Anyone else who would like to add? Come on, this is your opportunity to say what you have learned in the last 15-20 minutes that you're hearing me out, and also from books. Yeah, Preeti, we are specifically talking about research papers. So I'm asking you, how are you going to select the right research paper? Mansi says, first the title, then the abstract should be my criteria to read further. Very good, to go and read further. Thank you, Mansi. That's a lovely answer. So I hope you can see that you're building onto each one's answer, and each one of you is going to use a completely different criteria, right? So somebody said the relevance to the topic. Somebody said, let me see the title. It's relevant to my topic, but the title doesn't match with my interest at all. Okay. So thank you. Any more for anybody more who's going to attempt that? Anybody more who's going to attempt that? So thank you for those answers. That really means so much. I'm keeping the chat window open just in case you think that you know the answer or you want to say, you can always dash out. Okay. So here is my next question to you. And my question to you is as follows. How many research papers have you read in the lockdown period that has extended from March to January? How many research papers have you read in how many scientific papers have you read in the lockdown period that has extended from March to now? Well, I can see very honest answers. Sinka sir, you can see many students have read 0 papers and they're writing it. So thank you so much. And I hope those who have read 0 papers, you are going to promise me that you're going to start reading research papers and develop an interest for it. So that's really, really kind of you to give me that honest opinion. Yeah. Okay, so I can see many of you have read. Okay, there are some people who have read more than 5 papers. That's very nice. That's really amazing. Page is crossing 40. So I'm very happy many of you are answering. Okay, so I'm stopping the poll here and I want you to see the results. This is just an amazing set of students you have at your college, because there are about 10 students who have not read a single research paper. And what's important is they have been so honest to say that they have not read a research paper, and therefore they're going to, either start or they're going to communicate to you and keep me informed that they've started reading a research paper. So I hope you're going to connect with me. And there are some who have read 1, some up to 5, and some more than 5. Okay, so at this moment, I'll tell you why I put this. I put this to tell you that whenever you want to read a paper, let me give you a quick formula for how to read a research paper. Okay, so how to read a research paper in 30 minutes. And that is to give the title 1 minute, to give the abstract 10 minutes, and highlight as you read. Right from school, we have been doing that. We've been underlining and putting in the margin a star sign or an asterisk sign, and that is called as annotation. So quickly read the results in 10 minutes and quickly read the conclusion in 9 minutes. So you can read a paper quickly in just about 30 minutes. Now, some of you may do better, some of you may take more time, some will take less time, but doesn't matter. Okay, what's important is that because we are different type of people, we may take more or less time. What is this highlighting or what is this annotation? Now, this highlighting or annotation is basically to tell you that, okay, so this is to tell you that there was something important that you found there and you wanted to underline it. So your highlighting means you are communicating with the text. And when you annotate, what is the meaning of that annotation? So in the margin, you put a star. So this was a biomedical application. In the margin, you put a dot. This was the name of a scientist who discovered PCR, Caramellis. Okay, so whenever you're reading, you're discussing with your teacher, just preparing for your exam, you open your book and you suddenly find a star or a dot over there. And what do you find there? You find that you're able to recollect it better. Okay, so underlining is to help you communicate with the text, and annotation helps you to get a recall value of the text. So going back to what is a research paper versus what is a review paper. I hope you can see a review article is a club of research articles. So what if you could read a lot of research articles and make your own connections? What if you could link molecules and processes between papers and keep all these connections for you to use when you need them? What wouldn't it be great if you had a tool that will help you do this? म्हणजे एखाद्या ऑथरनी लिहिलेलं रिव्ह्यू वाचण्यापेक्षा तुम्हीच जर खूप रिसर्च पेपर्स वाचले आणि त्या पेपर्स मध्ये वेगवेगळे मॉलिक्युल्स कनेक्ट करू शकलात किंवा मॉडेल सिस्टम्स कनेक्ट करू शकलात, तर डू यू थिंक तुम्हाला अशी एखादी क्रिया करायला आवडेल? Do you think you will enjoy doing an activity like this, reading many research papers and connecting them? And what if I said I can help you by giving you a tool to do this? Okay, so you now have such a tool, which is Manav, the Human Atlas Initiative. Students, faculty, and researchers can join and contribute in this project. As a student, you can join Manav and contribute by annotating or highlighting important information in scientific articles. So this gives me, immense pleasure to introduce you to a wonderful resource, which is how, a citizen science partnership project called Manav, the Human Atlas Initiative, funded by Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, and co-funded by Persistent Systems. This is being jointly executed by National Center for Cell Science, NCCS, Indian Institute of Science Education, Research, ICER Pune, and all the backend support for this is being provided by Persistent Systems. That's our website, manav.gov.in. So right now, we have the platform is under development and we are onboarding students. Okay, onboarding means we're asking them to join. So I hope you remember you filled the registration form where I've asked you a question that would you be interested to join Manav or not. So all those of you who have said yes, I will be adding your names to the database. Now you also need to remember that whenever we carry out an activity like that, we are going to be taking research papers. So in which field? So we will be going systematically organ wise. So presently we have downloaded more than 2 lakh papers on skin, and these are on diverse subjects like microbiology, immunology, biochemistry, physiology, bioinformatics, pharmacy, medicine. So it's on diverse subjects which will be given by to students to read and annotate. Where will you be working? You will be working at your space, in your pace, right? That means at your home or in your college library, you will be underlining important points in the paper and giving it or providing it back into us or submitting it. Okay, so join us, make a team in your college. This is going to be a teacher-led activity. So a teacher will have a team of 3, 5 or 8 students. And supposing your students have graduated out, if they still want to remain connected, then they can tell the teacher who will be the team leader saying that I would like to continue doing the Manav annotation. So can you keep me in your team? And she will say yes. And together you will be contributing, getting certified, and also creating an impact. Okay. You will also get recognition through a rewards program and an opportunity to interact with scientists. So the aims of a project like this, the aims would be creation of a human atlas by assimilating all macro and micro level information from scientific literature and public databases, to provide mechanistic knowledge ranging from inter-organ dependencies to intra-organ tissue and subcellular level interactions. Okay, to identify the real gaps in current biological knowledge and areas in which future experiments can be focused to create a complete and fully accurate human presentation. So I told you we have started with papers on skin and we will be going organ wise. Okay. Secondly, there are diverse subjects. So depending on what is your subject of interest, we will be sharing papers of the same with you. Okay. So I hope this has really got you interested. So this is open to students and researchers and faculty. So when you go to our website and say join Manav, it will take you to a menu option which will say students starting a Manav club, faculty interested in starting a Manav club, becoming a reviewer, becoming an expert reviewer. Now teachers, let me tell you, you can do a dual role of remaining the team leader and also performing the duties of a reviewer, right? Now, as a reviewer, you will be looking at the annotations that the children or the students are carrying out. So Manav scholars will be annotating and they may end up annotating 40%, 20% or 80%. So you can help them better their annotations by telling them which annotations are appropriate and which are inappropriate or frivolous. So students, are you ready for another test? Yes. My question to you is as follows. Cetrimide is a drug used for seborrheic dermatitis. Cetrimide is a drug used for seborrheic dermatitis. What will you underline in this sentence? Cetrimide is a drug used for seborrheic dermatitis. What will you underline in this sentence? Yes, what will you underline in this sentence? Cetrimide is a drug used for seborrheic dermatitis. What will you underline? What do you think is important in this sentence that you will annotate?
Name of drug and use.
Yes, name of the drug. Name of the drug and very good.
Use of the drug.
Okay, yes, name of the drug. So somebody has just given me an answer. Name of the drug and use of the drug. So shall I say name of the drug? Name of the drug and the disease. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, name of the drug and the disease. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So name of the drug and the disease. So this should give you an idea whether a particular drug, a particular disease, or a particular microscopic technique or the any attribute of a physiology or a definition, all that is important in a research paper, which is relevant to say that this is a research paper which has the following information you will be sharing with us. Okay. Now, when you underline these annotations, these will get submitted backend after going through a process of reviewing and expert reviewing. Now, for expert reviewers, we are having academicians, scientists, very senior professionals who will be part. Yeah, thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you, Vaishnavi, for the answer. Vaishnavi has typed out the answer in the chat window. That really means so much. Okay, so becoming an expert reviewer for Manav, these people will see all the annotations that are submitted, and only those that are relevant will be going back to the platform. So the platform will have a vast entity list of names of drugs, processes, definitions, microscopic techniques, and just name it and it will be there. Okay, so we are there on these social media platforms, namely on on Twitter, on the Facebook page. We are there on LinkedIn, and we are also on Instagram. Now, every Thursday we have a data science webinar, which is at 3 o'clock. Now, in this webinar, we talk about precision cancer therapy, opportunities in data science. Epidemiologists which are being consulted by the government of India, they tell you how the R0 value is calculated in very simple examples. So till now, we have had about 18 to 20 sessions. So what you can do is like how you decide to go and see a movie. Every Friday, you can hear one of these. You don't need to put your video on. You can just hear this lecture for about 45 minutes. So it will tell you that how cancer is treated in precision. That means it's not as a drug given to everybody, but in that particular individual, which regulon is defective, and then you design a drug for that particular individual. So this is how it helps that individual. What are the different opportunities in data science for you? Okay, so every Thursday at 3 o'clock, I will be sharing the banner of that particular, this Thursday's talk. So I hope many of you will be joining in. And at this moment, I would like to tell you that all of you, would you want to access these annotations instead of reading the research paper? Do you think you would want to access these annotations from a public database if it is free? What is your answer? What is your answer? If I make this available freely to everybody, if I make this available freely to everybody, all these annotations, instead of you reading the research papers, do you think you would be wanting to read it? Do you think you would want to use it if it is available on a public database? Yes, so now I can see the chat window also active, and also many people who are taking to use the poll, right? So if you have annotations from a research paper for a particular topic that are available freely on a database, so my question is, as a student, would you want to use a tool like this if it is available freely? So I hope you can see that almost 43% of you have voted, and 45% almost that yes, you will be using this if it is freely available to you. Okay, thank you also for the answers in the chat window. Preeti, Vaishnavi, Chetna, thank you so much for your answers here. That really kind of instills confidence in me. And almost 50% of you. So don't you think you would want to be part of the annotation process? Do you think you would want to be part of the annotation process? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. So thank you. Please use the chat window, because for many people it may be echoing. So I hope that's not a problem. So I hope you can see that all of you are getting interested. So after this webinar is over, I will be generating an attendance sheet, and I will be sending you an email with links for the following 2 tests. I will also be sharing the links in WhatsApp with Sir, and he will post it on the group. So please don't worry. We don't want to stress you in an already stressful situation where we are not able to meet each other. We're not able to go to college. This is just a very simple test for us to know how much English, म्हणजे तुम्हाला इंग्लिश किती कळते, तुम्हाला इंग्लिशचं तुमचं वाचन कसं आहे, त्याचं आम्हाला फक्त एक माहिती पाहिजे की तुम्हाला इंग्लिश ह्या लेवलची कळते, सो दॅट तुम्हाला पेपर देताना आम्हाला तोच तुमचा स्कोर वापरता येईल. दुसरं म्हणजे आपण अर्धा तास आता बोललोय, ऑलमोस्ट सायंटिफिक पेपर बद्दल इतकी चर्चा केली आहे, तर त्याच्यातलं तुम्हाला काय कळतं? आर यू एबल टू अंडरस्टँड? तुम्हाला एखादा पेपर दिलं तर तुम्ही त्याला कसं वाचणार, त्याच्यात इम्पॉर्टंट पॉइंट्स काय आहेत, त्याच्याबद्दलचे क्वेश्चन्स आहेत पोस्ट वेबिनार क्वेश्चनेअर मध्ये. नाव सगळ्यात इम्पॉर्टंट क्वेश्चन की हे जे 2 लिंक्स मी तुम्हाला पाठवणार आहे, these 2 links that I will share with you, they will definitely be valid for 5 days. But my request to you is, please do both the tests together so that the system can generate a certificate for you. I hope you are with me on this, that please attempt both the tests for the system to generate a certificate for you. Okay, so thank you, Smita, Mansi, for all the answers that have been pouring in the chat window. Yes, so please sign up and be a part of the Manav initiative. Okay, and I told you that I want you to read research papers, right? Now, many of you have answered that you have never read a research paper, correct? So you're going to promise me that you're going to start reading research papers? Okay, I'm not going to force you for that, but I will share a valuable resource. And that resource is scietweet@gmail.com. SCIETWEET@gmail.com. Okay, so I'm sharing a valuable resource for you, which is scietweet@gmail.com. Now, what will this scietweet@gmail.com? You can either follow us on Twitter, or I have shared the email address here. Yes, Gaurav, you can type your question in the chat window, or after my session is over, I will be initiating a dialogue with all of you. Okay, so just keep your question ready and we will be answering it. Okay, so I have told you read a research paper, but which research paper to read? मॅम कोविड बद्दल किती माहिती आहे, कुठला रिसर्च पेपर? सो इतका आवाज आहे ना कोविड बद्दल, किती रिसर्च पेपर्स असतील, तर त्याच्यातला कुठला पेपर तुम्ही निवडायचा आणि वाचायचा, ज्याने तुमची म्हणजे ज्ञानवर्धन होईल, शब्दकोश वाढेल. ओके, सो दोज स्पेसिफिक पेपर्स आर सिग्नल, राईट? सो दोज सिग्नल पेपर्स वी हॅव सिलेक्टेड. आता हे पेपर कोण वाचतायत? दोज हू आर मेकिंग द वॅक्सिन, दोज हू आर मेकिंग द पॉलिसीज, दोज हू आर मेकिंग द ट्रीटमेंट प्रोटोकॉल्स. ही जी लोक आहेत, हे जे पेपर्स वाचतायत, तेच पेपर्स आम्ही तुमच्या बरोबर ऍज अ रिसोर्स शेअर करणार. ओके, आणि ही सर्व्हिस एकदम फ्री आहे, तर तुम्ही आम्हाला लिहू शकता अँड वी विल बी शेअरिंग द पेपर्स फॉर यू. ओके, सो आय रिअली होप यू एन्जॉयड दिस सेशन अँड थँक यू व्हेरी मच फॉर बीइंग सच अ पेशंट ऑडियन्स. So that's my email address, anupma.manav.atlas@gmail.com. Quite easy to remember. And you also have my email address on the email invite that I've sent you. And you always have your teachers who can definitely write back to me, so you can connect with me. So with that, I will be stopping my session. And I would request all the participants to, kindly put your video on so that we can all have a photo together. And even if you're not wearing makeup, it's perfectly okay. Your smile will make up for it, because I think as a teacher, the most important thing for all of us is to be able to see our students. And all of us are also missing that class interaction. It is getting very difficult for us also to just assume that students are there and things are happening. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mansi. Thank you, Rutuja, for obliging me. Thank you, Sampath. So that's really nice, that you all have been. Many of you have answered the questions. And I now leave the forum open for any questions that you want to send across or you want to address, so that I'll be able to answer them. Yeah, thank you very much for your kind attention. And it's really wonderful interacting with you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, over to you, Smita. Yeah. So I'm just requesting the participants, if they can just switch on their video for a minute, we can have a quick photographs. Otherwise, we can proceed ahead. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Sinkar sir. And so sorry to trouble you like this. Poor soul, he has been managing everything on phone. म्हणजे मी मराठीत बोलू शकतो. मंडळ आपला आभारी आहे. So thank you so much, sir. Yeah.
सगळ्यांनी आपला व्हिडिओ ऑन करा बेटा.
मॅडम, मला एक क्वेश्चन होता.
हा, नक्की सर, बोला.
Actually, we are located at a rural place, and even though we don't have the facility of subscription to journals,
Okay.
Sometimes while downloading the papers, we are getting some problems. We can't download that entire text paper.
Okay.
Even many researchers suggest that you can follow the Sci-Hub, but I think it is not good way, or it is not secure browser.
So Sinkar sir, let me cut your question short. Now you don't have to worry. Just write to me at my ACADS ID, and you know that I'm easier to get on the mail than on phone. Just write to me what paper with the title. I will just send the paper to you. Please don't worry. We have access to everything. We are a central government autonomous institute. I will give you access to the paper. म्हणजे मी डाउनलोड करून तुम्हाला PDF पाठवेन. त्याच्यामुळे तुमचं काम नाही थांबलं पाहिजे. प्लीज डोंट वरी. आय थिंक स्मिता विल अग्री की नेटवर्किंग हेल्प्स. आणि आपण भेटतो त्याच्यासाठी भेटतो, नॉट टू शो दॅट आय एम फ्रॉम आयसर और यू आर फ्रॉम अ कॉलेज, नॉट टू शो व्हॉट कलर ऑफ माय हेअर अँड व्हॉट इज माय ड्रेस, टू शो दॅट हा आपला गुण आहे, हा आपला इन्स्टिट्यूट आहे, तुम्हाला माझ्याकडनं जे बेनिफिट घेता येईल ते प्लीज ऍक्सेस करा. सो नो प्रॉब्लेम एट ऑल. प्लीज डोंट थिंक ट्वाइस. जस्ट सेंड मी एन ऑफिशियल मेल that we want the following reference. I will dash it to my librarian. We will download and send it to you. We will be happy to do that. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other questions that you would have?
काही क्वेश्चन्स आहेत का बेटा तुम्हाला विचारायचे मॅडमला?
आणि नंतर जरी लक्षात आलं 2 दिवसांनी किंवा आठवड्यानी की अरे हे आपण मानव कसं करणार आहोत, कुणी आपल्याला ट्रेनिंग देणार आहे का, सो डोंट वरी. काही क्वेश्चन नंतर जरी सुचले तरी तुम्ही ते मला विचारू शकता. आय विल आन्सर अँड वी विल बी प्रोव्हाइडिंग ट्रेनिंग टू देम for how to use the tools on the platform and things like that. And even if you're in the rural background or something, please don't worry, we will be sending you a PDF link for the paper. So त्यांना पेपर डाउनलोड करता येईल आणि त्याच्यात ते अंडरलाईन करून प्रॉपरली त्याला टूल्स असतील and they will be able to return it back to us or submit it to the database. So don't worry at all. Yeah, it is going to be very user friendly.
स्टुडंट सर्वांनी व्हिडिओ ऑन करा.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you, Deepali.
कांचन,
Thank you, Nikita. Thank you, Manan. Thank you, Vaishnavi.
योगिता, ऋतुजा,
Vaishnavi, Anushri,
Thank you, Chetna. Thank you, Rasika. Thank you, Akanksha. Thank you, Mayur. Yeah, thank you, Aishwarya. Thank you. Ekdam asa, it feels like a classroom, you know, where you can actually see everybody. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for obliging all of us for this photograph. Yeah, thank you, Preeti. Thank you, Tejas. Thank you, Ashwam. That's
Vaishnavi.
really, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Pachas. So
Thank
I
you,
hope,
ma'am.
thank you, thank you.
Thank
So I
you so
hope
much.
everybody
Thank you,
had an
ma'am.
interactive session, and please be safe. Please still follow the protocols that are described. And I'm sure we are soon going to be meeting each other. Okay, especially you with maybe
Yes, ma'am.
meeting your teachers earlier, but we'll definitely connect in person. Yeah, all the very best. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, sir, with your kind permission, I will put the meeting to an end.
Madam, just wait, madam.
Just
Yes, sir.
Madam, we will proceed for vote of thanks.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure. By all means. Yeah, thank you.
Honorable dignitaries and most valued guests, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on the behalf of our college. We want to express our gratitude to Honorable Chief Dr. Anupama Madam, who has spared his precious time for us and guide us regarding how to read scientific literature. Warm thanks goes to our principal, Dr. Dutta sir, for your vision and commitment to work and its execution. Sincere thanks to Dr. Pawar sir, IQAC coordinator, and Dr. Shrikant Thakre sir, in charge of Department of Science, Dr. Gurde madam, head of the Department of Botany, Dr. Megha Raghuvanshi madam, assistant professor, Department of Chemistry. Behind every successful program lie the manifold attempt to our committed faculty. I would like to acknowledge the contribution of our faculty. Finally, our special thanks goes to our students. So thank you all. So much thankful. Look forward to same in the future also. Thank you all for making this webinar huge success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam, for lucid explanation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And please do convey my best wishes to your entire team, the IQAC team and the different departments. Thank you. And whatever cooperation you need from our end, you can always feel free to write to me.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, Smita, so lovely to connect with you. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am, definitely.
Yeah. Take care. All the best. Yeah.
Madam,
Yeah.
feedback form is ready. Soon I will share this feedback form in a WhatsApp group.
Okay, sir. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thank you. And I will also be sharing the links. Just give me about 15 minutes. My office will generate the attendance sheet and I will be sharing the link. Please don't worry. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Yeah. Have a nice week.
Bye, ma'am. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Smita, sir.